Alright, guys, so I'm back again. It's been a little bit of time. This video should not be too long. I'm considering using this as the new background. Um, but actually, wait one sec here. So, as I was saying, I'm considering using this as the new background for the new videos I'm going to be putting out, and I'll be using this as the background when I don't want to be on camera. Just rather, I personally believe that if you spend too much time looking at yourself, you develop insecurities about your own personal appearance. But anyhow, um, I'm really starting to come to the conclusion that most women just they don't like men. Gen Z women don't like men, and they don't want men to be happy. They the amount of times that I'm talking like this because it's late at night. The amount of times I've been talking to a friend, um, who's a girl, and I actually am able to even have small talk with them. There's always some type of like negativity coming out towards my like personal being, not just an action that I did or something I said one time. No, it's like full blown, like your personality is annoying, or you're such a loser because you don't have a girlfriend, right? And that's another thing is you'll never hear a man shame another dude because he doesn't have a girlfriend. But you'll hear women shame dudes because the guy doesn't have a girlfriend. It's so bizarre. I don't know why that happens. I've never had a dude mock me, I've never mocked a dude because he doesn't have a girlfriend. But I've heard countless times. I've heard women make fun of guys because they don't have a partner. They don't have a girlfriend or a spouse or whatever. Even as young guys, because like I said, you guys know I'm 20. I'm gonna be 21 soon. Um, so I'm not gonna say I'm getting old, but I'm still a young guy. But all these women are they act so catty, and they act so petty and almost like childish, like the amount of times I've been belittled for something that is essentially pointless to say to someone is actually kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't know if it's because it's probably actually no, I do know what it's because all these women are feminists now. I haven't met a single woman. Now I don't talk to women outside of my job. I just don't. I don't really talk to people outside of my job. I'm a very busy guy. I have about 4 to 5 hobbies, as you guys already know, and I have several things to keep track of at any one time. I'm still receiving calls from my lawyer and trying attempting to get information from the opponent's lawyer. So I still am getting updated by that about weekly. But anyhow, guys, just we don't. This is why guys aren't dating. Is that a lot of men, a lot of women, excuse me, believe they can just blatantly disrespect you, and that's normal. That's normal behavior for women to have towards men, and that's what they believe that that's normal, acceptable behavior. When I make jokes about, oh yeah, well, you talk a lot, and that's because you're a woman or whatever, stuff like that, or you don't know what you're talking about because you're a woman. Like, haha, funny, but it's not like ever like the people who know me personally know I'm joking, but it's always taken so personally, and that's the thing is like I feel like the average woman nowadays they're just so prideful that anytime you question anything about them as a person. It's like a extreme personal attack on them as a person. Like if I just say to a woman like, "Wow, you're kind of tall." I've seen recently guys saying that tall women like to belittle men who are average height. So let's say the woman is like 6 foot tall. She will belittle men who are average height because the theory is anyway, because the man does not make her feel feminine, being that him being shorter than her makes her feel effeminate or non-feminine. That could be possibly the wrong word, effeminate. And like how if a man is, if a woman is stronger than a man, for example, it almost never happens, but the man will feel emasculated, and men do not like feeling emasculated, just like how women don't like feeling non-feminine. So I honestly believe though that this divide between the sexes is going to take ages for us to get over, especially as Gen Z. I would say decades even, because it's so deep rooted in that the men are saying the women aren't feminine, and which, to be honest with you, a lot of them aren't feminine. They're not soft. They're not, caring, and they're not sweet people. And all these women are saying that men are not masculine anymore. And I think it's just a whole bunch of dumb, stupid bullshit, if you're going to be honest. Because, look, man, if we all would sit down and understand. Now, this is coming from a Christian person, but I don't really think this has much to do with the Bible or, any type of faith. I think this issue is really boiling down to women were convinced to become feminists by, I forget what her name was, but it did come out that she was a CIA operative. It's not new information, but if you look for it, you can find out very quickly. And why would the CIA want to manipulate women into believing that they, quote, need men like fish need a bicycle? Why would the CIA do that? Well, the CIA would do that very simply because the CIA wanted us to lower the birth rates in America, as well as um, divide the two genders, so that when you divide the two genders, people are not living together, and since they're not living together, there is more money being put into the U.S. economy, because if you're living separate, if men and women are living separate, they're going to have to both rent places separately instead of together. So there's more real estate being paid for. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe like we're doing this shit all wrong. Like I don't know how to explain it any better than that at all. But like I firmly, I'm not gonna say I believe, but it feels like a lot of the time from a lot of these women that the men are just fully replaceable, and because women hold all the power in the modern dating system or dynamic or whatever you want to call it, they hold literally all the chips. So here's the problem with that is that when they hold all the chips and they know they hold all the chips, there's a power imbalance. And it's a pretty obvious power imbalance as well, being that, you know, I watched this video the other day as a prime example. This guy it was from IBZ, if you want to check his latest video. Some guy went into a store, it looked like a cologne or perfume store in a mall, and he asked the girl behind the counter, he said, "Oh, I just thought you were kind of pretty, can I get your number?" And she threatened to call security on him just for asking for her number, like literally. And he decided to leave the cologne, a perfume store, or whatever, and she followed him into another store, the woman who was running the counter. So I don't know who the hell is running the counter at this point. Probably no one. And she ran out, and a couple other women followed him through the store. I guess other workers in the store, and they had security on him. So to the point of where the security escorted him out of the building, and after he left the building, he was attempting to go to his vehicle, and one of the girl's boyfriends arrived with the police, and the police were like, "Hey, can you delete the video?" And he was like, "I'm not deleting the video." And they went, "Okay," and they left him alone. All this shit, all this shit because some guy asked a girl for her phone number. That's what it's like, dude. That's literally what it's like in 2026 now. And I mean, it's the gender divide is, I would say it's almost completely silent in public. Like when you're at the store or you're at work and you're working with people that you aren't very um, close with, it never comes up. It simply does not fucking come up. I've got about another 5 minutes here. It simply doesn't come up because people want to act like that women are the victims of everything all the time. And I'm not going to say that women aren't victims. And I'm not going to say that men also aren't victims and they can't be victims because that's not true. But what I'm saying is the victim of the scenario is both parties because both parties have a lack of trust in society at large as well as the opposite sex. Because look, man, here's what we got to do if society is gonna heal from this whole men hating women dynamic and men hating women and women hating men because it's both sides. It's not one sided, but it's definitely, I would say, one. I think the women are more into hating the men than the men are into hating the women because I don't ever see when I see a guy hating on a woman, it happens so much less infrequently than the inverse of the scenario. Because the last time I heard about a guy hating on women was the guy who was playing Marvel Rivals. You guys might know who I'm talking about. But he was playing that game. This was from months back. And he was saying that women do not belong in video games. That was the last time I heard anybody talking bad about women seriously. The last time, now again, that was months ago. The last time I heard women talking about men negatively was probably this fucking week, in all honesty. And I'm just sick of it. I'm just so tired of it because like it feels like now that like 85 to 90% of women are just these catty petty I almost said the B word. I don't like saying that word, but you guys are acting like that. You guys are acting like bitches half the time. You guys are acting completely disrespectful out of nowhere. And it's just like I don't understand this entire dynamic. Like and it's like these women keep they keep picking the worst guy possible every time. Like, and my dad has always said, "Oh, women love the bad boy," because, like I told you guys, my one coworker who again has been talking shit on me because I am a man and she's a feminist woman, but I am friends with her. But I don't know how much of the man hating shit is a joke or not. But these women always pick the worst fucking guy available, bro. Like literally the worst guy available, because her ex boyfriend. I don't know how much I want to air out of this on camera, but one sec here, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna basically be done here. Um, her ex boyfriend dumped her months ago, and he cheated on my friend with her best friend, right? Cheated not once, but twice, right? Cheated twice. And then they have been in contact this entire time. So even though they recently broke up, it was like a less than a week or so. He had sex with my friend's best friend, and then twice. And then my friend and my friend's ex-boyfriend have been in contact for almost basically this entire fucking time. And now they are back together as of a few days ago and are looking forward to spending Valentine's Day with each other. You have effectively picked the worst guy possible. And this is what makes me laugh is all these women say, I hate men, men suck. You keep picking the worst fucking guys on planet Earth. That's the problem. That's the issue here. So, like I said, I would never go back to my ex if she fucking cheated on me twice with my best friend. I would see that as an absolute non-negotiable option. That person doesn't exist in my brain anymore. But they'll talk shit about me because I'm a Christian, but they'll get back with their ex who literally fucked their best friend twice. Absolutely ridiculous. Thanks for watching, guys.